Hi everyone, Angelo here, homeless filmmaker in LA. Been living in my car for about 17 months now. He estado viviendo en mi carro por cerca 17 meses ahora. I think I said that correctly in Spanish. Actually, I'm not sure. Now that my documentary's out, and I had a chance to... Okay, wait, let me take all this stuff off. Now that my documentary's out, and I had a chance to look at myself for hours and hours, well over the 8 hours of footage I had, because I was looking through it over and over again. So I must have watched myself, I don't know how many hours. I don't know if it was that experience or it was just the progression of time in my recovery, but I noticed one of the biggest steps in a way, or one of the biggest external markers of the progress in my recovery, which is still ongoing in my depersonalization-derealization. I wonder if you can hear me at all because of the wind. I don't know if it was from looking at myself in the 8 hours of footage I had and editing that many times over, so it was longer than 8 hours. I was looking at myself and the surreal experience of seeing myself at different stages of recovery in my disorder. But I noticed I had at least the biggest external marker of recovery, which I'm still going through, of my depersonalization-derealization disorder. It's a problem that's alleviated in my leg. When I had my relapse on November 27th, one of the first problems that was physical I had was I noticed I had this hot spot sort of on my leg, like my left hip, and it would like kind of burn hot. It wouldn't hurt. It wasn't even that uncomfortable. It was kind of interesting, but I knew it's because my nerves were shot. Like, just my body could not handle reality. It just was not perceiving things right. So it was creating this feeling of hotness, almost like a hot pack was put on my left hip, and then a feeling of coldness as well, like a cold bag of water was put on my left leg. That's been with me for months, even as I have been recovering. The other big external marker that shows where I've made some progress in my recovery is I stopped having sleep paralysis and I was able to sleep a full night. I don't remember exactly how far into my recovery that happened, but for a while sleep was just horrible. I would wake up after an hour or two sleeping. I would just be in awful pain, like mental pain. I would have horrible, vivid, sort of not quite dreams, but feelings that like my personality was escaping me. And they reminded me of the feelings I had back in 2012 when I first relapsed that time. And that was the third bout of DPDR that I've had. This is the fourth bout. I was having horrible nightmares that people I knew from childhood had all met to say goodbye to me, because somehow it's like my mind knew I was leaving, like I was not checked in anymore. I had to go, and I went through 9 months of excruciating pain after that. And I'm still struggling. I still get pretty scared sometimes, although I am able to work on my computer a lot now, obviously, to edit that movie. I could not have done that in the first month, maybe even 2 months of my recovery. The first month, I couldn't even sit at my computer a lot of times. I had such bad pain when I tried to do that in the library. I don't know how to describe it other than this horrible itch in me that I just could not let myself sit at the library. But anyways, back to this spot on my leg. So this is a sensory disorder in addition to being a depersonalization and derealization disorder. So it affects my senses. It gives me strange tastes in my mouth. There have been times where it's like I don't feel like my body is really mine. That one I don't get as much as other people. Other people get that a lot, but I don't. Other people have gotten things with this, like they call it snow vision, like on TV. There used to be static on TV, like seeing things like that, or their vision going blurry, not being able to hear things well. For me, it's mostly around taste that I get it, and also this weird feeling of weightlessness in my hands, which fortunately I am getting back. But it was just a scary feeling, like my hands, it was almost like I couldn't make them do what I wanted. I remember I would be on my laptop at times, the first month or so of my recovery, and I would try and click the mouse and I just couldn't do it. And that was a similar feeling to the sleep paralysis I had. Getting back to this weird feeling on my leg, I noticed in the last few days it's greatly alleviated. That feeling of hotness and coolness on my leg. It's not totally gone. I still feel a little bit, but it's very light. in the past it had gone down a little bit and then gone back to seemingly where it was before. Now it's I don't know if it was like because I was watching the footage of my documentary, maybe somehow that was helping me to see myself, somehow connect back with myself, but it coincides with that happening. And again, I'm still recovering. I still feel spaced out at times. I still feel lost, like I'm just numb inside, like there's nothing inside me. And it's scary as hell because it feels like I'm losing my power. So I've been making myself walk a little bit, and I'm gonna try and read when I get back to my car. And I've been exercising hard in the mornings. I'm finally back to doing burpees, which is great exercise. Now that that sort of feeling of impingement or a pinched nerve in my left shoulder blade has gone away with those stretches that I showed, stretches for bootlickers. By the way, I saw 2 amazing videos that reminds me, talking about bootlickers of landlords. These scumbag landlords in LA are just vicious bullies. They don't care about people. They don't give a fuck about people. They want them out and homeless if they're costing them any money, even though it's illegal to evict them. One landlord had a family that had been living in their apartment, I think, for 22 years. There was a fire that spread through multiple apartments, including theirs. So the landlord put them up in a motel, paid for their motel, and wouldn't pay for moving costs, and then decided to illegally evict them, stopped paying their motel costs, and then hired a moving truck to come over and take their stuff and put it in storage. So the LA Tenants Union went over there. Did I say that right? So the LA Tenants Union went over there with their group of activists, filmed it, live streamed. I went out with them once and protested this restaurant that kicked out a family and lied to do it. And they said they're gonna come and buy this building. Oh, but don't worry, we're gonna keep the tenants here. And then they changed their mind and they turned it into a restaurant. The protesters filmed it, live streamed. This scumbag, I guess he was a property manager or something, came over. He's like, we're not doing anything wrong. He and a woman were there. I don't know if anybody else was with them. Say, no, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna take their stuff out. These protesters were like, no, you're not going in there. It was either property manager or the landlord backed off because he was fucking wrong. He was a fucking coward. He just wanted to save his money. He didn't want to follow the law. He didn't want to help people. The other landlord, this lady, I can't believe the nerve she had. Older lady, she was holding a dog. She was insulting this guy. Apparently he wasn't paying his rent. He notified her that it was due to either, I guess his work was impacted by coronavirus or he had coronavirus. I can't remember. I'll put details of it on screen, I guess. And she was insulting him, and what she did, she locked the gate of the apartment complex and so he couldn't go back into his apartment. She wanted to lock him out, and she was, meanwhile, but she was also locking other tenants in and said if anyone comes out, they're going to be evicted. Well, the LA Tenants, wait, was it the LA Tenants Union? I think so. They came over, protested, the police came, ostensibly to protect the landlord. It turned out, yeah, she was doing this illegally. They had to let her back in. She had to let the unlock the chain on the gate to the apartment complex. They did that, and she still went over and was like, no, no, and stuck her arm through the entrance in the gate and was insulting this guy. And they said by the end, she was crying. How fucking greedy, oh, man, you gotta be to do that to someone. Think you can push someone around, put them on the street. But that's what landlords do. You know, they're used to it because they're used to exploiting people. So one day to the next, it doesn't really make a difference to them. Okay, back from that sort of happy story. It's a happy story, but it shouldn't have to. It's still difficult for a lot of people, and landlords get away with that all the time. And they don't want to talk about it. They want to hide it. And then act like, well, just pay your rent. Just give me money. You work, and I'll take the money. And that's fair. And if I don't feel like following the law to keep you in your home, well, I'll just kick you out. Too bad. I hope you don't fight it. And if you do, well, I'll try and bully you anyways. Well, you got bullied by someone, the good bullies in a way. They aren't really bullies, but they're there to help people who get bullied. So anyways, it's still a tough time for me. I'm still struggling with this, but I don't know if exercising's helping. So I did those stretches. Finally, my shoulder blade recovered enough to where I could do burpees. Before, I couldn't really do them. It just hurt so bad it would aggravate my shoulder blade, and that's a great workout. So and I don't really like running so much. I don't mind doing it on the treadmill. I don't know. I just don't want to cover ground. So this is also a good cardio workout. It's much better than just push-ups and just squats. It's more intense than that. So I don't know if that's helping, and you know, just movement. And I have been losing weight. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I don't know how much weight I've lost because I don't have a scale, but at some point I'll weigh myself. I still have a ways to go. I think at least another 20 pounds. But yeah, this feeling of this like warm patch on my hip, sort of right around my butt, really, not my hip, but so the left side of my butt, it doesn't activate nearly as much. So it's kind of incredible. For 5 months I've had it and wondered when it'll go away. When I've been editing videos, the position I'm in, it just sort of it triggers it, and I could feel it, and I felt a slight sort of premonition of it just a second ago, but it just goes away like that. It's very faint and weak. But I was feeling it a lot editing videos these last few weeks, and I would feel this sort of, almost feels like a stream going up and down the left side of my leg. And now it's not really happening. So I hope that's a good thing. I still get the weird taste in my mouth, but they're not as intense. And other than that, I've been trying to eat very clean, very healthy. Thank goodness I did get on food stamps. I think I only get $58 a month on my the card, the debit card for the EBT, as it's called. But that's good. So I've been just getting, first of all, not eating much anyways, and eating clean foods, healthy foods as much as possible. I just hope this continues, this recovery. I'm still scared and still wondering, you know, how am I gonna totally recover? But I'm trying to keep focused on what matters to me, movies, and you know, who knows what's gonna come from this pandemic, but at least that's an improvement. That's a big noticeable external improvement, as opposed to just feeling like I'm getting better. I still get these feelings of goosebumps, which is interesting, that go through me. That's part of this disorder that I have right now. I don't know why I'm pronouncing stuff incorrectly. Maybe I'm dehydrated. But each time I've had DPDR, it's been different. I've had 4 major bouts of it, and I'd like to be rid of it forever so I can't get triggered into it, because I'm so susceptible to being triggered into it each time. And I get really spaced out and feel like, how can I write my screenplays? I don't feel emotions. I'm just this numb like piece of jelly, like nothing. I don't know, I guess it's very gradual, and I'm only 5 months into recovery, which is not a lot of time for me. My first bout I had, it was excruciating, 15 months. Second bout may have been the worst in a way, because I was so numb. I was incredibly numb to the point where after the year of it or so, I was getting to the point where I couldn't sleep because I couldn't feel anything about it, and I couldn't really eat. I couldn't swallow food. And then the third time, where I could barely swallow food either, but that was because I was just in such excruciating pain and couldn't sleep for like 23 hours a day for the worst part of it. This time it's been a weird mix of the second and third time, I'd say. But overall getting better. And yeah, again, a weird symptom I'm having this time is the goosebumps that I'm getting. And it almost feels like this poison's getting out of me when I get goosebumps. So anyways, that's a bit of recovery, a bit of good news. I'm gonna get back to my walk. Sweating like a mofo out here. I see a lot of people wearing masks out, that's good. And keep watching, like the video. Hey, you gotta click like, it helps the algorithm favor my videos. Subscribe to the channel and keep watching.